Hello and welcome to Diary of a Common Man. My name is Salim Lalani. Thank you for joining me one more time. Last week we were in Cairo, where 19th Aga Khani Imam Nizar is put to death by his younger brother Muste Ali. Imam Nizar's successor Al-Hadi could not be found. Hassan bin Sabba, an Ismaili missionary and the supporter of Imam Nizar, escapes to Iran, where he establishes a Nizari settlement in Alamut. Hassan hopes Al-Hadi is alive and he will one day come to Alamut to guide them, but Hassan dies without meeting Al-Hadi. This week we will conclude our search for Aga Khan's ancestors. Upon Hassan bin Sabba's death, his lieutenant Kia Buzurg Umid takes over as the ruler of Alamut, hoping for the arrival of the rightful Imam. But just like Hassan, Umid keeps vigil for more than a decade. Death arrives first, not the Imam. Umid's son Muhammad becomes the new ruler of Alamut. Just like his father, he keeps looking out the window for next 2 decades, but once again death comes first, not the Imam. 67 years have now passed since Imam Nizar's death, and there was no Hazar Imam to guide people, and this was not good for the Shia doctrine, which asserts that an Imam is always present on earth to guide his followers. Finally, Hassan II, not Hassan bin Sabba, Hassan II, the ruler of Alamut, the descendant of Kia Buzurg Umid, takes matters in his own hands. He declares himself the elusive Nizari Imam by assuming the title of Ala Zikr Salam. Thus, Hassan Ala Zikr Salam, the descendant of Kia Buzurg Umid, becomes the 23rd Nizari Aga Khani Imam. Nizari movement, which was on life support, was finally resurrected. Appropriately, this event is called Yawm-e Qiyamah, and it is still celebrated in Iran. After Imam Ala Zikr Salam, 4 Nizari Imams, the descendants of Umid, live in the fort of Alamut: Imam Ala Muhammad, Imam Jalaluddin Hassan, Imam Aladdin Muhammad, and Imam Ruknuddin Khursha. So, am I suggesting that Aga Khan is also a descendant of Umid? Answer is no one knows, because for next 550 years, 18 Nizari Imams keep a very low profile. Not much is known about them. But why? What has happened this time around? What happened to their stronghold at Alamut? This is what happened. The name of the disaster was Hulagu Khan. In the 13th century, grandson of Genghis Khan, Hulagu Khan, was ordered by his brother Mongol Khan to destroy as many Islamic states as possible. In 1256, after destroying Iraq and Syria, Hulagu turned towards Alamut. Unfortunately, Imam of the time was a young Imam, only 26 years old, Ruknuddin Khursha. Hulagu captured the Imam without a fight, and once entire Nizari settlement had surrendered, Imam was promptly put to death. Alamut had fallen. They say about 100,000 Nizaris were slaughtered by Hulagu Khan, including young Imam Khursha. Most survivors sought refuge in neighboring Azerbaijan, but soon they re-established residence in Iran. Some say with the fall of Alamut, the Nizari chain came to an end, but Aga Khanis actually believe deceased Imam's son, deceased Imam Khursha's son, Shamsuddin, escaped to neighboring Azerbaijan and arrived in a little village called Zardos, and he worked there as an embroiderer. For more than half a millennia, Nizaris kept a low profile owing to the persecution by Muslim community. In fact, not much is known about those imams during those 500 years. Then in 1817, life enters into the almost dead Nizari movement. This is Yazd in Iran. Imam of the time who lives there is Imam Shah Khalilullah. Unfortunately, he is killed in an ambush between some Muslim fanatics. He was survived by his wife Bibi Sarkara and his very young son, 13-year-old Hassan, who became the next Imam, the 46th Nizari Imam. Now, the widow, the Bibi Sarkara, lodged a complaint in Qajar King's Fateh Ali Shah's court. King not only punished the offenders but offered his daughter in marriage for young Imam Hassan, Princess Sarve Jahan Khanum. Thus, Imam Hassan became king's son-in-law and a royal. Some believe the king bestowed upon him the title of Aga Khan, but 48th Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, during a court hearing against him, declared that it was an alias used by Imam Hassan. This alias was inherited by his successors, which includes the current Aga Khan. Imam Hassan Ali Shah, he was actually called Imam Hassan Ali Shah Mahalati because he actually originated from a little city called Mahalat, came to be known as Aga Khan. For 18 years, he enjoyed being a royal, but then things started getting pear-shaped. In 1834, King Muhammad Shah Qajar gave the Imam the governorship of Kerman, a region in southern Iran. But an incident made the Imam an enemy of the king. This incident is narrated by none other than Aga Khan III in his memoirs. And the story goes that Aga Khan had a servant who became a favorite of the Prime Minister of the country. One fine day, this servant requested in marriage for one of Aga Khan's daughters for his son. Aga Khan was offended. How dare a servant make such an absurd proposal? To add fuel to the fire, the Prime Minister pressed Aga Khan to accept the proposal. Aga Khan refused. This refusal proved to be very costly. The Prime Minister removed him from the Kerman governorship. But Aga Khan would not take it lying down. He revolted. Initially, he won a few battles, but eventually he was outnumbered. Aga Khan had no choice but to flee Iran for good. This is yet another cornerstone in the Aga Khani history. After almost 800 years in Iran, Nizari Imams depart Iran for good. Aga Khan with 200 horsemen and their families arrived in Afghanistan, a place called Kandahar. This arrival turned out to be a case of being in the right place at the right time. Britain was in the middle of a war with Afghanistan, but Afghans proved to be a formidable force. British needed manpower. Aga Khan needed food and shelter. Hands shook. Imam became a British mercenary, a Shia Imam sent by God to guide Muslims, becomes a British mercenary to kill other Muslims. Aga Khan III confirms this story in his memoirs. Not only did Aga Khan receive a pension from the British, but he was later given the title of His Highness. Didn't he deserve it? Upon completion of the British assignments in Kandahar, he was sent to Sindh for more assignments. From there, Aga Khan travelled to Bombay via Gujarat, where he met his Indian followers. Upon arrival in Bombay, the Iranian government demanded his extradition. Not only was the Imam a fugitive, but he was harboring plans to attack Kerman one more time from India. British, however, refused to extradite him, but did send him to Calcutta. Soon the news of Shah's death arrived. Imam was allowed back to Bombay. Eventually, Imam died in Bombay in 1881. He was buried in Hasnabad, Bombay, where his tomb is located. Finally, we can say with confidence that Aga Khan traces his ancestry from Imam Hassan, that is Aga Khan I. This is due to the fact that there are historical records to substantiate it. And more importantly, there are no historical records to substantiate that Aga Khan belongs to the lineage of the Prophet of Islam or Maula Ali. Having said that, it is also possible that all Aga Khans descended from Kia Buzurg Umid. Upon the death of his father, Aga Khan I, Aka Ali Shah became the 47th Imam and inherited the title of Aga Khan II. As an Imam, Aga Khan II further developed the good relations his father enjoyed with the British. But his personal life was not without tragedy. His two wives died young. His third wife, Shamsul Mulk, gave him 3 boys, but 2 of them died young. At a young age of 55, the Imam himself passed away. He contracted pneumonia on a waterfowling trip. His imamate lasted only 4 years and he is buried in Najaf alongside his ancestors. So let us quickly summarize. Aga Khan claims lineal descent from Prophet via unbroken chain of 49 Imams. The chain, however, breaks twice. Imam Ismail and Imam al-Hadi did not come forward to claim the imamate and further the chain of imamate. 8 Imams lived and died in hiding. 23rd Imam Hassan al-Zikr salam was a descendant of Kia Buzurg Umid. Finally, we found the ancestor of Aga Khan, Imam Hassan Ali Shah Aga Khan I. Next week, we will go to India to witness the transformation of a Shia Imam into Hindu gods. In the meanwhile, take care and goodbye.